Has traditional ways been important to me in dealing with alcohol? Is that the question? No, they haven't been important to me. God damn it, just
really
there goes that god darn video again. No, they haven't been important. The only thing that's been important to me is making money in America and flying my flag every 4th of July. No. No, I'll answer your question seriously. Traditional ways, as I mentioned before, every second I screw up, we waste video, and it's just irking. It's just irking you guys too, because you guys are a couple of professionals. And I know.
$12 a tape.
Yeah.
Money.
No, I'd have to say tradition has been important to me in my recovery from alcoholism. I consider myself a practicing recovering alcoholic. We recognize alcohol as a disease. And when you finally clear your mind of it, and you look at yourself and who you are, and identify who you are, and see, does that fit into who you are and what you're pursuing? And alcohol ain't a part of it. Everybody's story, you know, alcohol was introduced to us by the white people. Alcohol was brought here by the white people. Like everything else, Christianity was brought here. Super businesses was brought here. Super America was brought here. The whole shebang. But specifically alcohol plus culture, all you'll get is minuses all the way down. Your what you call your equation will be nothing but minuses. Because if you're to practice your way of life, alcohol doesn't exist in there. And I'd probably end up arguing with even the elders on that point. Because I believe keeping a clear mind, a clear heart, one heart, helps keep that tradition clarified. Although the changes of the tradition from the 1800s to now been changed, the simple fact that alcohol will help destroy it faster in the future if we don't do anything about it. If we don't make any attempt and as Indian people, time and time again, we've been sent to treatment centers. Time and time again. We go to treatment centers, we get out, and we go back into our same pattern. We get sent to prison. We feel remorseful. We get out, get into a treatment center. We get back into our same pattern. And I believe if we utilize some of our tradition, and that's taken the young and putting them in a setting of their own people in a natural environment where there's no four walls, where there's no bells that's going to be ringing all the time, no TV, and put them in that environment and work with them, verbally, orally work with them in talking about value, cultural and traditional values. I believe that would have a more effect than going into treatment facilities. Because a treatment facility, it boils down to money and grant. And the facility either gets too political, and the people that's coming into it don't get the quality counseling, I believe. So we're processed through. It's like a processing center. When you first join the service, you get processed in. You're fitted with your greens. You're sent out into the parade grounds. And you don't talk back, you listen and you do. That's the Armed Services motto. So you get processed through it. So I work my tradition in my recovery. I practice my spirituality, which is an important part of working against alcoholism. I give my time to my kids as best as I can. Anybody that's willing to sit down and talk about effects of alcoholism and values of culture, I'm willing to sit down and share with them. And I learn from them, and we learn from each other. And I think that's an important part of tradition, is the willingness to keep sharing and to keep growing. Them old people, they didn't give up, because if they would have gave up, we wouldn't be here. And so altogether and overall, I'm battling against alcoholism. I don't know if we'll ever have a high percentage of alcohol-free reservation, but I'll know that myself and others have made an effort in the name of tradition, cultural and family values, because there's been many young people that's been buried due to alcohol. And I guess some people just don't want to address it, don't want to talk about it. There's a lot of issues that people don't want to talk about. Alcoholism is one of them. And part of it can be the fears that, well, I'll be looked down on. People won't, will think of me as a lowlife because there's different definitions of alcoholic. As maybe there's not enough education out there in the alcoholic field to define what that is. An alcoholic can be anybody. It could be your medicine man down the road. It could be your doctor right down the other road. It can be your lawyer. It doesn't have to be that that old person that looks like he doesn't have nothing and we have tagged him as an alcoholic. It can be anybody. It can be your most prominent businessman, your most successful looking leader. And so I believe and I stress when I talk with people or if I talk with somebody on it, to practice their tradition in walking away from alcohol. And rather than pick up something else. And it can be simple as picking up a drumstick and walking over to a drum and singing. If you think you're so funny when you take a bottle of booze and you drink it up and you put on a good show for somebody, try picking up a drumstick and walking to a drum and singing a song and making 100 people dance and have fun. People don't really look at it that way. Just by taking a little stick and going over and hitting that drum and singing a song, you can make hundreds of people dance. And in that hundreds of people, when you're doing that, you make them feel happy. Because there's a lot of things going through their mind as they're out there dancing. They might be thinking of their past loved ones that went on. They might be thinking of their future loved ones. They might be thinking of their grandchildren. The mothers and fathers will be thinking of their children. The young kids that are out there dancing, they'll be looking at their mothers and fathers. Say, look, Mom and Dad, I'm dancing. And they wouldn't be dancing if you were over there, if you weren't over there drumming and singing. It's a lot easier to do that than to go over there and pick up that bottle and do this. It's better to hit that skin than to keep hitting your lips. Even in gambling, stick game, an old Indian game. I know some people play it so that they can occupy their mind away from alcohol. They decide to go that way. Where you can go is and you can drink and you can sit with somebody else drinking and tease each other. You can be best of friends. Next thing you know, you're knocking your friend's teeth out. Or you stole his wife. Or he stole your wife. Or he knocked your teeth out. In stick game, you can sit there and you can play and you can tease each other. And play all the way through. You get done. The next time you see each other, you shake each other's hand. And you smile and you tell stories. You exchange a good time. Alcohol won't do that for you. And I don't think it'll ever do that. It might fool you. It'll give you a sense of falseness. You might think you see it, but you don't. It's fooling you. So that's why that tradition, I put tradition, Indian tradition, to practice that. It's good. It's healthy. You set examples for your kids. You set examples for your nieces and your nephews. You set examples for your friends. That's it.
Thank you.
Want to hear another joke?
Yeah.
Forget all my jokes.
Never happened. Go ahead.
Does that sound answering to a question like that?
Yes.
It's
I think so.
yeah. Because sometimes I think I talk about it and then I think a question like that might sometimes deserve even overnight to think about. And sometimes a question like that doesn't have one answer, as maybe I can come from this point to answer it, and hoping that it's understandable, because that's what I want it to be, is it understandable, that people can understand it. I guess that's what, yeah.
Seemed very clear to me.
Oh hey, oh hey, oh hey, 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 oh, ho, yo, ho.